I went looking for a video to explain why do designers model, and I couldn't find one. There's a lot out there, and there's one right below that's the closest I found. It talks about prototyping, and some people use those two terms identically. Some people make a distinction that modeling is earlier in the process when you're testing just one thing about a design. Prototyping is at the end of the process when you're trying to test everything about the design together. Other people don't make that distinction at all, and they use the terms interchangeably. I don't care how you use the terms, either way works for me. But the point is that we model stuff, we prototype things early in our process before we get to the point where we're making our final version of the design. And the biggest reason we do that is to answer questions. And believe it or not, I couldn't find a video out on the internet that hit that point. I was shocked. So, why? What questions? What are we talking about here? Early in your design process, you should have a problem or a goal for your design. I want to make my desk neater. I have a cat that needs a home. I have a kindergarten class that needs a better toy. The teacher wants to teach them more about how things interact with gravity. Something that is the goal of the process. I know sometimes we'll do projects to learn a skill. This isn't really about that. This is when you have a product in mind, whether that's a coding product, a website, an app, it's a graphic design product, a menu, a business card, it's a video product, it's a documentary, it's a 1-minute story, it's whatever it is. In any discipline that we have, we prototype, we model to get there quicker. And then finding out what's wrong is what we're trying to do. Where do we need to keep working and what's working right in our design ideas? So we have this problem. We've come up with a bunch of ideas for how could we solve this problem. Key point there. We've come up with a bunch of ideas for how to solve this problem, not just one. Which one's a great idea? What else do we need to think about that we haven't even thought about that yet? In other words, what do we not know that we don't even know yet about our design? And models help us find that out. Maybe early in the process, you decide, okay, this is going to be about a box and it needs to be this big, and you make some measurements. And it roughly this big, it's going to fit right. You quickly throw that into your software and laser cut it and then fold it together and tape it, and you get this. Not exactly the size that you thought it was going to be. A quick model in cardboard, not wood or something that is expensive and slow to cut, but cardboard, quick and easy to cut, fold, and say, oh, that didn't work. This is actually not the first model. The first one, when it fell together, didn't actually fold together and glue nicely as a box. Some of the pieces weren't in proportion with other pieces. That was a quick discovery with cardboard, or better yet, paper, which was the first one that was cut out, to say, oh, that's not right. Okay, we'll adjust. That's modeling. Answering the question, is this the right size? Maybe your question is a little farther into the process and you're wondering, is this going to fit together properly? And so you cut all the pieces out of cardboard and you try to fit them together so that you can see if the slots slide in where they're supposed to slide, if there's enough space between the components, if there's too much space and it's not going to glue together right. This took about 3 rounds of cardboard modeling to make sure that all the pieces were the right size, that they all fit right, and that the slots were in the right distances to make this work as a stand. Cardboard is cheap. We can model in cardboard all day long and spend just a little bit of money. As soon as you switch to something like wood or metal or acrylic, we're talking a lot more money. The other type of modeling, these are answering questions about fit, size. Maybe you use blue foam because you need an aesthetic model. You want to model just the outside of the product and see how it maybe fits in your hand, or how people like the look that you have in mind. That would be a great thing to do with blue foam. Maybe you're wondering about the functionality of your product. Can I get it to do what I want it to do? So here is a claw, opens and closes on this side to open and close a hook. This one is a model made out of quickly cut wood, inexpensive. And I can play with it a little bit and say, oh, to open the claw back up, I have to push on this down here with my hand, and then I can just pull it closed. It'd be neat if it only closed as far as the hook. So this needs to be adjusted a little bit because I can close it a little farther than that. And it'd be nice if I could just pull my finger back out to open it back up instead of having to move it back and forth all the time. I can also take this out and test picking things up with it. Can I actually pick up things that are as heavy as I want to pick up with it? Is this angle right? Should it be shifted down? Here, it looks like it's straight ahead. But here, it's cocked up. Is that going to make it hard to pick things up? How does this feel as a grip? Should I change the width, the height, the roundness? This might be a good part to model in blue foam. So all of that is modeling. It's always about answering questions to make your product better. And it's about making a fast version of your product. Cardboard, paper, tape, hot glue, blue foam are all things that we can model in very quickly. When you get to wood, metal, 3D modeling on the 3D printers, plastic, acrylic, rubber, all these things are much more expensive and take a lot more time and effort to put together, and a lot more waiting often while glue sets or while 3D prints go through the queue and actually get printed. That takes a lot more time. So start with the fast and easy to get your models done, and start with a question. What do you need to know? That's why we model.